Hello, it's me, SR Moray, and today I have a rant to go through. Um, Lately, for some reason, my Batman videos have been getting a lot of the Batman videos have been getting some attention, particularly the Scarecrow video, and I've been asked to do more DC videos, which I have no problem with because I am an absolutely huge DC fan. I've been a DC fan for as long as I can remember. My dad had me watching the 90s Flash. He had me watching the animated series when I was very young, so it's part of my blood. It's DC and Lord of the Rings are kind of like my two favorite things other than my own books that I write. So, some big news this week. Henry Cavill was brought back as Superman in Black Adam, which I enjoyed. And now he's not. Now he's fired. Now he is no longer Superman. And I'm going to go through and explain why this is such a big deal. In particular, comparing it to the Robert Pattinson Batman Ben Affleck situation and why they're different and how they're similar. So first and foremost, to me, this is a huge blow to the Nads. It's Superman, Henry Cavill Superman. I love Henry Cavill Superman. I've never had a problem with him. You know, the darker, more realistic. What would Superman be like in our actual world? I've never had any problem with that. I actually like almost all of Zack Snyder's movies. I think that I just like darker movies in general, but I've never had a problem with Henry Cavill Superman. So he really is my Superman. Like I try to watch the old Superman movies, but I think they were just before my time, and I really don't think they've aged particularly well. So I struggle to get through them. So for me, the Superman I grew up with was the animated series Superman. And I'm not saying that I think Henry Cavill is necessarily that Superman, but I don't think that he's also not that Superman. I mean, if you rewatch the show, there's certainly Superman definitely still has that occasionally that darker, more rigid Superman. In fact, there's one point where Batman has to stop Superman from killing Darkseid in Justice League, the animated series. And so, I mean, I felt that Henry Cavill still embodied the animated series Superman, maybe not in his more Boy Scout moments, but certainly still fit Superman. So to me, it really is kind of a big hit in the nuts. I think even people that weren't fans of the Snyderverse were fans of Henry Cavill Superman. So like even, I just, anyway, it doesn't make any sense to me. It leaves a bitter taste in my mouth um, in a way that the Ben Affleck stuff didn't. So the difference is with Ben Affleck, because when Ben Affleck first was announced that he wasn't going to be Batman, he's not going to direct the Batman, and we kind of like were slowly kind of introduced to the step by step introduced to the idea that he wasn't going to be Batman anymore, and then you got all that information about his mental health and his health in general. And I don't know, it just kind of felt like we saw it coming that he wasn't going to be Batman for a variety of reasons, some of which, you fully support the actor getting his life in order. But then, they announced, well, Matt Reeves is going to be the director. And I was like, okay, I've seen, his stuff. I'm familiar with his stuff. And he seems like he could fit Batman, his directing style. And so it was, they announced Robert Pattinson, and I had seen some of Robert Pattinson's, smaller gigs, more indie gigs, and I was like, I could see like he's got some serious range. I mean, this is a very talented actor. he's a bit skinny, but there's ways around it, and he can get bigger and things like that. And they ended up, in my opinion, nailing it. They did a very, very good job. And so I don't know. As soon as I heard Matt Reeves was going to be the director, I was like, okay, well, I would obviously love more Ben Affleck Batman, but his mental health, all of this, his health in general, like all of this, I get it. So I'm not going to go into Matt Reeves thing with any kind of bitterness. It just seemed like, why? And, then I saw that first trailer for the Batman, and at that point I was 100% sold. I knew I was going to like this movie. I knew I was going to like this take. There was a little bit, if you go back in my videos, there was a little bit where I was a little nervous about the cowl, but I do think they ended up fixing that. It was the ears. I think they changed it, because in some of the first pictures we saw, the ears were like more like pointy, like almost like little rods, and I do think that they fixed that. At least when I watched the movie, it doesn't look like it did in the those behind the scenes photos. So, long story, with the Batman, with Robert Pattinson, it felt understandable why it happened, and they nailed it. And the director that they picked, and the one writing it, I felt, okay, that makes logical sense. Now, Superman's different because Henry Cavill was just brought back by the, I know James Gunn came in, and he wasn't in whenever he came back, but I don't understand why, whatever you're trying to do with Superman, I don't understand why it wouldn't work with Henry Cavill. I know you're trying to do a younger Superman, but why is it necessary? I don't really want to see a younger Superman. I don't want to see a skinnier, leaner Superman. I want a Superman that can go up against Mongol, and I want to see him, like Henry has the physique. I mean, he looks like Superman. You're going to have to get someone that's an unknown, because I don't know of any other actor that can do it. And I was watching the John Campea show, and all the suggestions they made were awful. So I don't know who you're going to have play Superman. Of course, I wouldn't have guessed that they'd pick Robert Pattinson to play Batman. So I mean, there's certainly wiggle room there, but another big thing, other than, unlike Ben Affleck, where we kind of saw it coming and it was what was best for his health, from so far as we could tell, is that Henry Cavill wanted to be here. He's excited to be back, and now he's not back because of really just James Gunn wants to do his own thing and put his own name on it. He doesn't want really any connection to Snyder. But also, when it was announced that Matt Reeves was going to be the director of the Batman, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. He's kind of got that style that could work for that. James Gunn is writing the new Superman movie, and I don't know about you, but I haven't seen anything that he has made that even remotely convinces me that he could pull off a Superman movie. We're talking about the guy, because I do not want a Guardians of the Galaxy Superman movie. I don't want that humor. I don't like that humor. When Star-Lord or whatever turns into the Pac-Man in the second one, I literally rolled my eyes. I think that is so stupid. The dance-off was so stupid, in my opinion. I just think it's awful and cringy and not... I was just like, really? Like, okay. So I'm not very confident in his ability as a writer. Never mind all the controversy that's surrounding him and things that he's done in the past, and I'm all for forgiveness and all that, but I mean, we're talking about the guy who made Peacemaker, which, I mean, you can like that show, but it's extremely vulgar and extremely sexual. And you're having the guy that made that and the Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy make the most wholesome Boy Scout character, superhero character in either mythos. You're having him make that character. I'm just not convinced that he can do it. I'm not convinced he can do a good job with it. I don't think it's in his wheelhouse. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong, but I don't have the faith in it. So unlike the Batman thing, I have a bitter taste in my mouth about it because I really love Henry Cavill, and I thought he was a great Superman, and I absolutely love the Hans Zimmer Superman theme. I like it more than the original theme. It's just, the original theme is nice, but the Hans Zimmer one makes me like immediately it causes an emotional reaction in my body when I hear the Hans Zimmer theme. It's so beautifully simple yet amazing, as is everything that Hans Zimmer does. John Williams, I mean, it's like, it's good music, but it's not like emotionally impactful to me. Um, and I'm never gonna, we're not gonna get that in the new movie, and nor should we. We should not use the Hans Zimmer theme for the new Superman because that's Henry's Superman theme. I don't know. It just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, and I'm not convinced that James Gunn's gonna be able to make a good Superman movie. Um, so I don't know. I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done with the DCU. You're getting rid of Gal Gadot. You're getting rid of Jason Momoa, most likely. You should get rid of Ezra Miller. I don't think they're actually going to get rid of Shazam for some reason. But maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they could keep Jason Momoa. I don't know. But I don't know. It could be that it ends up being great, but you're going to have to wow me. You're going to have to be able to get over that bitter taste. You're going to have to be able to convince me, like, do such a good job that the bitter taste in my mouth isn't noticed. Like, I will go and see it if the trailers wow me like the Batman did. But at least where I'm sitting right now, I think you've ticked off the fans who have been treated like crap for like a decade now. And honestly, I'm just sick of it. You're really gonna have to. You're gonna have to make. I mean, you've set yourself up to where you're gonna have to make the perfect Superman movie. Because I mean, you've just set yourself up into that position. You fired a beloved actor for Superman, and if you don't deliver, then it's like if you deliver a Superman movie that's not that great, I think you're probably gonna end up rebooting you're gonna get fired maybe after a few movies, and we're gonna be in the same boat. Except now you're gonna have some people that want Henry back and some people that want this new thing. Now there is the possibility that in the future James Gunn wants to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he wants Henry to be Old Man Superman, like Kingdom Come Superman. And obviously I would love that, just like I loved when Tobey Maguire came back for Spider-Man. But it's still not the same. He's not going to be the Superman. He's going to be like in a side character kind of thing. And it was obviously better than nothing. But in summary, I just have a bad taste in my mouth about it. It just kind of reminds me of like jobs where people are asked to resign, and if you don't play along with it, then we won't scratch your back later on or whatever. It just kind of stinks of like political sketchiness, and I just don't like it. It leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm glad Henry has this Warhammer thing going on, but I feel sorry for the guy, and I think it's a true testament to how good of a Superman he was that I care so much about how he as an actor is treated. Just the way he responds to things, the way it's all class, and it's a huge bummer. If I would have made this video the day it was announced, it probably would have been a lot more passionate and rageful. Needless to say, my hope for the future in DC is abysmal. I'm excited for the Batman. I'll have to make a video because since making my Scarecrow video, it was announced that they might be making a Scarecrow movie, So I'll have to make another video for that. So I'm excited for the Reeves verse. I'm excited for Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and I am excited for the DC movies that are still in this universe that are yet to come out. Like, I'll still go see Aquaman 2 and Flash and everything, but my investment after that is very, very low. And one last thought before I sign out is, I know James Gunn said he was going to release some news on what maybe his, like, start releasing details on what their plan is after the new year. I don't know how soon after the new year. I'll obviously check it out, and hopefully I'm impressed. I'll be honest, I do love Jon Stewart, but I like Hal more. I'd really like to see Hal get an actual, not Ryan Reynolds, take on the character. You can have both of them in it if you need to, but Hal Jordan's one of my absolute favorites. It's Batman, Hawkman, and Hal Jordan. Those are my three favorite characters, and probably Superman there too. But Superman comic books are less enjoyable for me just because most people don't know how to write them correctly. And I don't think James Gunn's going to be one of those people either. But those are my thoughts on this controversy. I don't like it.